Hey everybody, it's Justin from Bittner Built and my friend Christian here. Say hi, Christian.
Hi, everybody.
He loves Legos and he's been asking us if we could build a Lego sorting tray. So we are going to do that in this video today. But the big focus today is going to be on beginner laser basics. This is for people you haven't bought a laser engraver yet, you're thinking about doing it, or you just bought one and you're starting to learn how to use it. We're going to go through step by step a very simple basic process. We're going to look at pre-made files. We're going to look at how you learn from those files. And of course, we're going to make a cool sorting tray today. Sound good? All right. Today on Bittner Built. So before we get started, two things. Number one, I'm working with a young guy, Christian here. When you're working with children, make sure that you set them up for success. Don't have them do things where they can fail in the beginning. Educate them, make sure it's fun. You want them to have fun building stuff because if they have fun, they'll want to keep doing it. And that could open up an entire road for their entire life. Maybe they want to go into engineering and design and all sorts of other things. These sort of STEM projects are really fun for kids. Number two, we are going to work with a pre-made purchased file for this video. When you first get a laser engraver, don't immediately rush to go make all this money with it and make your money back on your investment. You need to make things for yourself, for your friends, your family, gifts, and just fun stuff, because that's how you learn. And there are millions of free files out there, and paid ones are only a couple bucks. This one that I bought for this video was $3.50, so not really expensive. But from these files, you'll learn to make small little changes for things that you want to do. You'll add in personalization things into here, and it will give you the fundamentals to be able to then go out and make your own custom designs that then you can sell those projects out there. For this video, we're going to be using the xTool S1. This has really been the ultimate in beginner lasers as far as I'm concerned. And the biggest thing, though, regardless of whatever laser you use, is that you use one that is fully enclosed. There are lots of open gantry, open non-enclosed lasers out there. If Christian walked into the room right now and he wasn't wearing goggles, which he wouldn't be, and I was running this laser, it could damage his eyesight. So that's no good, right? Or if he walked over and he opened up the lid, this machine automatically shuts off. You can off it. Yeah, there you go. So for his protection, for my protection, for everybody's protection, when you're using one of these machines, always make sure you're using a fully enclosed unit. So once you have your laser and you're ready to make a project, I highly recommend going to any of the repositories that has a ton of files. Here in xTool, it's built into the software where people just post tons and tons of really amazing projects. So I highly recommend that when you first get your laser, these are the types of things that you choose first. Like if we chose this chessboard, they even have a YouTube video associated with it. So not only is the file free to download, but you can follow along with their YouTube video just to see exactly how to make this chessboard. It is just crazy how much stuff is out here, and this is going to start you off on the right foot before you start experimenting on your own. For my file that I purchased, there are 4 trays with sides, and they have different sized holes in the trays so that when we pour Legos on top, we can shake it and it will sort them by size based on how they fall through these holes. This file that I purchased is only the design. It does not have any settings on here, and that's okay. You really only should use any settings that are included in a file as a baseline. And that's because the material that you're using might be a little bit different than the material they're using. Even if it's, the same type of birch plywood, the one that you have just might be different with a different moisture content than theirs. Maybe the company used a different glue in between the pieces than theirs. And your laser might be different than theirs. You might take better care of your lasers or not. So that might affect how the laser operates. Same with, the elevation you are, atmosphere, humidity, all sorts of stuff. It all plays a role. So what you need to do is run a test grid every single time. So you just make a little rectangle here. You go over and hit Material Test Array, and it gives you some options to try different power settings and speeds. If you had settings included with it, you could use that as a baseline and try to zoom in and narrow it down to the perfect setting. But if you didn't, you could make a large test grid I'm enlarging how many columns and rows we have to a big grid. And then I'll run this on a scrap piece of this material to see exactly what the settings I should use are. All right, so Christian, are you ready to get building?
Yes.
Okay, so what I did was I cut out just one just to give it a little bit of a test. You know, always good to test your product before you start making everything. And I actually found an issue. When you're buying a file like this or just downloading a free one that's already pre-made, it might not be set up for the material that you have. I have all of this colored 1/8 inch board that I had lying around, right? And since this is a kid's project, I thought, oh, this will be perfect. It's all colorful, right? The problem is this is 1/8, and the file calls for 1/4 inch. So if I try to put this together right now, it's all loose and wiggly, and that's no good, right?
Nope.
No.
We cannot use that.
So I have two options for me. One, I'm going to just double up this material because it's not painted on the other side. So I figure, okay, I'll glue two pieces together. It becomes a 1/4 inch. It'll work. But for most of you out there, you're probably going to need to alter your file. And so what I'm going to show you how to do is alter it from this larger opening right here to a skinnier opening. And that way, if you just use it with this material, you can just put it on. It'll fit perfectly, and it's not going to shake out. This is something really easy to do. So let's edit this file so that we can make the skinnier slot. When you are using any sort of computer-controlled device, whether it be a laser engraver, 3D printer, or CNC machine, you get to input numbers to change things. It makes it really easy and beyond precise. You don't want to just freehand things. You want to know exactly what to change them to. So I highly recommend that you get a pair of digital calipers. These are the cheapo ones from Harbor Freight. These will work fine for you. I do recommend getting a much bigger set. I'll link this one down below. I like this one. I've had it for a while. This is a 12-inch one. The reason why you want a big one, if you can, is because you want to be able to measure as much as you can to very small decimal points. So on here, I can just take this piece of wood and just stick it right between these, and it tells me that this is 2.84 millimeters thick. That is a lot more precise than if I took out a tape measure. I would have just assumed that this was 3 millimeters. It is not. Now that I know this number, the 2.84, I can go over to the computer, click the actual gap here, and change the gap width by telling it to make it 2.84. Now I might enlarge it just a little bit because, you know, if it's exactly precise, it might be too hard to fit. So I'm going to change it to like 2.94. So giving it just a little bit of wiggle room. And then when I cut it out, it's going to be the exact precise size that I need. There's no guesswork. That's why using calipers are very, very, very handy when you're working with a laser. All right, Christian, let's start using the laser.
All right.
What we're going to do first is measure the thickness of the material that we put in here. So what you're going to do is pull the laser over so the big plus sign is on the material, and then I'm going to hit a button.
Okay.
Cool, right there. And now over in the software, I hit the distance button, and a little probe is going to pop down, and it's going to touch the wood gently, and it's going to say, okay, now I know how thick this material is. Now that we've figured out how thick it is, we need to know where the material is on the computer. So on the computer, I'm going to hit start marking, and what we're using is a big rectangle. And so, Christian, you're going to take this laser, and you're going to put it in the back left corner, like that, and I want you to hit the button in the front on the machine.
Okay.
See how it made a noise? That means that it registered where we had it. Now I'm going to move it to the other front corner with the laser. Hit that button again. Awesome. So look, on the computer, it made a big rectangle. So we know exactly where our material is on the laser engraving bed.
Cool.
So now what I can do is I can drag our image and fit it perfectly inside that rectangle that was made. If I have it outside the rectangle, it's not going to be on the wood. Now, unfortunately, two of our pieces don't make it. So we're going to have to cut those out on a different piece. I'm making sure that these that are off are selected as no output so that it doesn't think that it needs to engrave those. I'm going to check all of these right here. These all say output is yes. And when I did my material test grid earlier, it told me that to do a clean cut, it was at 80%, or I'm sorry, 90% power. So we're going to grab all of these and tell it 90% power at a speed of 15 MMS. And I think we're ready to go. So the first thing you need to do is close that lid for our safety. Gently, please. Are you ready for laser action?
Yes!
All right. We're all cut out. We need to clean up some of these pieces. There's some residue around the edges. Since all of this was painted, it's really easy to just take a wet wipe and rub it off. So go ahead and take this wet wipe and clean up all the edges right here. All right, nice and clean. Good job.
Thanks.
So what we need to do now is glue two pieces together. That way we achieve the thickness that we were going for. So what I'm going to do is I will apply CA glue, super glue, and wood glue onto the back of this. Wood glue is stronger. It'll be a better hold, but it takes a while to dry. So we're going to put some CA glue on there too, just so it'll dry real quick and we can continue assembling everything. Christian has gloves on to protect him from this glue. What I'll do is I'll apply the glue and then you put this piece on top as soon as I'm finished. You hold that, okay? Okay, so I'm just applying a thin layer of wood glue kind of everywhere. Now I'm going to put the CA glue on. When I put the CA glue on, I'm making sure that I'm getting the tabs at the end. That's the most important parts to make sure that it's fully secured right now. The CA glue is just the temporary until the wood glue dries. Okay, buddy, so put it right down on top of here perfectly, right on top, and try not to get your gloves stuck in the glue. All right, so take your right hand away. That's your left hand. The other right. Cool.
Right now, can I put it down?
You got it. Good job. So we are all lined up here, and what I'm just going to do real quick is throw a little clamp on it.
Okay.
We got a little pinchy clamp we can use. Oh, no. That'll be good.
To keep it together while we wait?
To keep it together. You got it.
How many do you have?
A lot of clamps. You can never have too many clamps, apparently. All right, we're all finished. We got an engraving done on the bottom plate here. Did you have a good time playing with all these, making these?
Yep.
So what we're going to do is smallest first. So small, medium, large. Go ahead and start dumping a whole bunch in there. Quick, quick, quick. There we go. Okay, that's good. So now shake it. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Uh-oh, keep it together while you shake it. There we go. Shake it. All right, I think we got it. So, the big holes kept the biggest pieces on the top. And we got the medium-sized pieces. Small pieces.
And
in the itty-bitty pieces. So I think it worked. Do you think it worked?
Yep.
Awesome. So what do you think about laser engravers?
Good.
Good? Mm-hmm. Makes cool stuff, right?
Yep.
Pretty easy. The big thing here is if you're new at this stuff, go ahead and make these really cool things that are on these pre-made sites, on xTool sites and on others. There's so many great projects out there, and it will help you learn what you need to do to then go and create your own stuff and, you know, really be successful at laser engraving. I hope you learned a lot from this video. If you did, I hope you'll like and subscribe. It's what helps me out. Thank you so much, Christian. Thanks for helping me out on this video.
You're welcome. We did a good job.
Stay safe in the shop. I'll see you in the next one.
Bye.